Greetings, everybody. My name is Adam Carlson from Chip Theory Games. Thank you for joining me today. I have with me our latest game, Triplock. I've got it set up to give you a little bit of a sneak peek on how to play solo. Yes, this game is 1 to 2 players. Basically, I'm showing you the one-player side of it. Right here in this picture, we've got the majority of the components that come with the game. I gave you a video. If you're looking for how to play or a rundown of the components, please find that other video. Here I'm just going to kind of dive in and give you a walkthrough, and you can kind of see how I make my decisions on this solo game. Right here we've got the station card. The station card is our first episode of a lineup of solo games that will be coming out in the future. We've got our story that sets the stage for the station. For solo challenge, proceed to the station room 1 card. So this is basically our stage setter theme card. And here we've got room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4. The object of this first episode is there's a small group of lockpickers that have come together and are now needing to get through or break into each room to get to the end. And I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it. But right now I am on room 2. So I'm going to give you a kind of a rundown. I'm going to play room 2 in front of you to show you how it's done. But again, this is the stage setter, the theme on this side of the card. You can pause and read if you like. And on the back side, we've got the goal and the lock, room rules. And so we're just going to kind of dive in. I'm playing as Dante Harvard today. I've got my point card pointing with the key at 0. We've got a round counter. This game, this room specifically does require us to solve. So let's just read the goal here. Earn 5 points, then solve this lock in 8 rounds or fewer, or room wins. Again, I want to just remind everyone that everything here is prototype quality. We're kind of still, this is pretty much the last stage of the development of the game, but we still have one more small wave of new components and slight adjustments to the game, so that's my disclaimer there. But anyways, 5 points, then solve this lock, and here's the lock. In 8 rounds or fewer, or room wins. So I need to get spring, push, and levers in order from L to R. So we've got L and R, so I need to get them from here over to here. Spring, push, levers. And if I get to that after getting my 5 points from these diagrams, and I do it within 8 rounds, I win. That's not all. Room rules. Normal setup, which is how I've set it up here like this. I get my character, my skill bead. I get to start with a diagram, which I will be setting up in a second. The room goes second. All disarmed fail-safes may be placed on this card, must be placed on this card, rather than gaining them yourself. On room's turn, all 4 mechanism stacks rotate. Anytime a mechanism's fail-safe is removed, flip this mechanism stack. If this new mechanism does not have a fail-safe, add one from this card. Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I've got my key on this here, so we're going to set it up like this. Right now we're on the first round, and that key is pointing at the 1 right there. So I've drawn this. This is part of my normal setup of the game. I'm trying to decide. I'm probably not going to go for the collect because those require fail-safes. And for this room specifically, I do not get the fail-safes. I don't gain them. So I'm not going to go for that. I need 5 points. Spring, key, lever. And I'm comparing with the lock that I need. Spring, push, lever. Interesting. So the trip with levers, spring, and key in any order. If I get that set up, I get 5 points. And then I just need to rearrange. So you know what? Maybe I'm going to go for all 5 on 1 card. We're going to go for that. So now I'm lever, spring, key. This game is all about orientation of the cards and remembering what your diagrams need and where the mechanics are. So we're going to very quickly learn about what is underneath these. I've already shuffled and placed these randomly. I have no idea what's there. So I'm just going to dive in on my first turn. So it's round one right now. I'm going to roll my dice here. I've got these two symbols here. Let's see here, we've got 2 peaks, and we know what that is. Peak at any 2 mechanisms and their fail-safes. And then I've got a disarm any visible fail-safe and draw a new diagram. Okay, so that might help too. So I'm going to peek at 2 and draw 1. Let's just go ahead and start looking around here. I've got, okay, keypad. On the underside of this is the key that I need to get my 5 points. So that's important that I get that flipped over. Here is a pull, and I need to get that flipped over for the push. But I need this into the hidden lock spot at some point. So both of these need to be flipped. And then I'm going to use this die to disarm. And unfortunately, this chip goes on the room card. And that may end up being put back on here soon. But the key here is I learned that this is levers. Now that's what I want. I want the levers side face up. So again, and I can peek at this anytime I want. I can't change the orientation of the card unless I have an action that allows me to do so. But levers, the underside is key. I need to remember already, if I'm forgetting, I don't get to peek at it again. So very important to really pay attention. I may make some mistakes for this video because I'm shooting and explaining what I'm doing, and I'm not focused entirely on what each side is, so that should be very interesting. So the spring must be here, either on the top or the bottom side of the mechanism. So I'm going to just put that back. I get to draw a diagram. It may or may not help me. What's interesting is I can probably choose a combo, and the reward would be to draw a new diagram. That's not, but key, push, left to right. Just trying to think. I think this was code, and this was pull. So that's not really going to help me. Key, push, levers, trip. Oh! So, wow, that's going to be good. Key, code. So I'm going to actually set it on this side. It's slightly different than what I have here, but if the situation is right, I might just go ahead and try and solve this one or this one. Again, I don't have to solve all of my diagrams. I just need to earn 5 points before I solve this lock. So the third thing I do is I've got my, now I could do my action, my skill, before or after I roll. At this point, I can, if I put it on Dante, I would have been able to re-roll one of these, but that's okay. I'm going to put it down on the PTS track, which after 3 turns I can get 2 points. You know what? If I'm going to 5 points, no, I'm going to put it over here. Action. I want an extra action next turn. So, anyway, so that's my turn. We're moving over to the room. The room goes second. So again, going over the rules. All fail-safes must be placed on this card, which we've done. All 4 mechanism stacks rotate. And anytime a fail-safe is removed, flip this mechanism stack. Anytime a mechanism fail-safe is removed, flip this mechanism stack. If this new mechanism does not have a fail-safe, add one. So when I remove this, I should have flipped it over at that point in time. So now I need to remember, okay, so that's the padlock facing up. That's not the right side. I need to get all of these flipped over, which should be interesting. But anyways, now on the room's turn, I do a rotate. I'm going to grab the hidden lock, bring it over here, and slide them all down. Again, these 3 are the visible mechanisms, and this is the hidden mechanism over here. You can see the graphic on the mat is a little different, so that's important to remember for some of the actions that I've got. But pretty simple. All they did was a rotation, but now I all of a sudden need to remember, okay, so this was code, and I believe it was pull, and this one was now flipped to padlock. And we don't know if this is spring or gear. So now I'm just remembering myself. Now, here we go, round 2. I'm gonna roll. I've got 2 disarms and 2 draw new diagrams. Interesting. Well, I do want to disarm. I do. And because these 2, I need them flipped over. Believe it or not, I'm going to disarm. So that was a pull. So now it's become a push. And that flip is because of the room's condition, the room rules. And I have to draw a new diagram. Here we go. Interesting. I'm going to try and get... Hold on. So that was a pull. So now we're at push, pull, padlock, spring. I don't know what I want to do, what I want to go for. At this point, I could probably keep them all. And I'm going to play face up now so you can see what I'm doing here. But anyways, I've done that action. And now I have one more action. So I'm going to disarm this one. And again, all the disarm fail-safes go here. Now this will get flipped over. So now we're looking at its key, push, and this one is still not the right side up in my mind. This is padlock. So key, push, and this one is either spring or gear. Interesting. So key, push, levers. See, now I'm mixed up. Oh, levers is on the bottom side of this. Levers, padlock. Oh, padlock. Levers. Nope. Okay, so I won't be able to solve any of those, even if I knew what was on this side here. All 3 of these combos require these 3 chips. But what's interesting... Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, my goodness. And then I draw a new diagram as my second action there. And I have to discard one because I can only have 3 here. Pull, levers, key. Pull, levers, key. Push, levers, key. I'd rather have the push, levers, key. What to do. I don't like this one. And in fact, you know what, just for fun, pull, levers. I'm going to set it up this, just in case I get a situation where I can do a pull, levers, and do a combo. So I'm going to try and earn a point. So this is discarded because I have my limit of how many diagrams I can have active at any one time. Alright, so that was my second round. But hold on, so I got my skill. So when I get to +1 actions, I get to re-roll this die per, so this allows me to swap. Very interesting. Okay. So again, to the actions card here, we've got swap any 2 mechanism stacks. Well, any 2, visible mechanism stacks. Unfortunately, so I can't access this one, which is the one I need. But I could swap these 2. And now on the next rotation for the board, I will actually have them, the 3 that I need, in the visible lock area. So I'm in great shape. But now I need to remember, so this was key, Now this one is push. So push, key, we don't know what that one is yet. And this one is, I believe, it's padlock side up, isn't it? Padlock. So push, key, unknown, padlock. Is that correct? So that's the beauty of this game, is you're kind of trying to figure it out. So I want to uncover all these, but the diagrams are going up there, and it's going to be interesting. So I'm not going to do my second swap. I think push, key, push, pull, levers, push, key, levers. So I'm okay. So I'm done there. I'm going to forego that second swap. So my turn is over, and now it's the board, and the board will do simply a rotation. And the board is done, and now it's round 3. Again, I have 8 rounds to complete 5 points, and then to solve the master lock here. Alright, so I'm going to remember let's see here, this one was padlock side up, key and push. And then we don't know. So let's just roll. I want to see if I can get a peek. Oh boy. So, okay. So I got two disarms, any visible failsafe, and draw a new diagram. That's that one there. I don't need to keep drawing diagrams, but you know what? Options are good. Options are good. So I'm going to disarm this one. Padlock. That happened exactly the way I wanted to. Now, per the room rules, anytime a mechanism failsafe is removed, yes, flip this mechanism stack. If this new mechanism does not have a failsafe, add one to it. So, just like that. So again, room 2 is all about remembering, because other rooms might not cover your mechanisms with failsafes. So now all of a sudden, okay, so that was levers. Levers, I believe this is key and this is push. So let's see what I got here. Oh, I've got this card here is key, push, and levers for 5 points. So I'm going to make what we call an attempt to solve this diagram. All right? So what I have to do is I have to call out what side or what symbol is under each of these, and if I get it 3 in a row, then I can bank the 5 points. So I'm going to go levers, and then I just kind of reveal it. That is correct. And then I'm going to go key, and I'm going to reveal it. What? So I made a mistake. So this was actually the push, and that's going to be the key. So unfortunately, I messed up because I called the wrong symbol out. And now all of a sudden, instead of getting 5 points, what happens is I have to discard this diagram, just like that. And I immediately end my turn. So I missed out on using the skill bead. I missed out on this die just because I made an attempt to solve, and all of a sudden, but the game is not over. The game is not over by a long shot. I can still do this. So I want to remember what I just revealed and just move on. So we have, this was levers and this was actually push, and so that must make this one the key. All right. I can do this. All right, room's turn. So the room rotates all the mechanisms. So to recap, we got levers, push, key. And those sides are the correct sides I want. All right, my turn. Round 4. Let's do this. All right, so this symbol here is reveal, conceal, or alter any diagram. This is how I would be able to, since I don't have an opponent, what I may take advantage of is altering, and that means to pick a new side for any one of these diagrams. If I felt like I wanted to do this, I think I will do that. So all of a sudden it's pull, levers, key, which sounds very similar to what I just had. I had a push levers key before. So I need to flip the push, which is here. So if I flip that, I can solve this one. Interesting, okay. So I'll do that for the alter. I've got a disarm. So I want to find out what this is. It's the spring. All right, so now it's flipped, and all of a sudden it's the gear. So I want to get that flipped over at some point. So I'll need to reflip it. But the other half of this action is I get to draw a new diagram, and let's see here. Gear, levers, gear, levers. Interesting. Didn't I just... So now I'm trying to remember. I think I've got this solution already. We got gear on the left side and levers to the right of it. This doesn't have to be on the L, as long as the gear is left of the levers. It can be gear levers, or gear levers. But I think this was gear, which would make See, I'm so confused. This was levers. So I'm going to attempt to solve this one right now. Before I do that, I'm going to place this on the action. So I used up all my dice and all my skills. So in a way, it's kind of a free attempt to solve to try and get a quick point. So here we go. This is gear. Correct. And then for levers, this is levers. Right. Okay. So I solved this diagram. So what that does for me is I get the reward of 1 point. So I'm going to move this up to 1. Dante's got 1 point. Plus I get to discard any unsolved diagram. That's a great, great skill for when you're playing against an opponent. But at this point, I don't want to discard, so I don't have to. So now I'm 1 point towards my 5 that I need, which may end up being very, very important. But more importantly, it was about just getting one off, just getting some points on the board, just in case I need to use this track. So that was gear, levers, and this is push. All right, I need that one flipped. Okay, so room's turn. We got a full rotation. Gear, levers, push. I know we saw this one. This should be the key. So key, gear, levers, push. Key, gears, levers, push. And I'll be reciting that just to make sure I don't forget. So round 5, all of a sudden, my goodness. Okay, key, gear, levers, push. Okay, so if I flip the gear to spring, I can get my 5 points. So maybe I'll try and shoot for that. Oh no. So what I got was 2 results that ended up in peak at any 2 mechanisms and the fail-safes. Unfortunately, I don't need those, but anytime you roll 2 action dice and either you may or may not like one or both results, you can cash them both in and select any action of your choice to do, but it costs you both these. Well, I'll do that. I want to flip. So what do we have? Flip any 2 visible mechanism stacks. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Flip any 2. So I'm going to flip this. Perfect. Now before I use my other one, I'm going to just stop for a second and I'm going to quick attempt to solve the diagram. Now, by the way, when flipping, the room reacted and it covers the failsafe. But I know what it is. So we're going to go key. I'm going to solve this here. Levers, spring, keys. So levers over here. Key, I mean. I said it already. Key, spring, and then levers. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. So again, a trip is in any order, but if you were to do, like, say, a combo, they have to be left to right, or this has to be left of this. But the trip is any order. So I revealed them correctly. So now I get my 5 points. And this is discarded in this room. It doesn't matter how many. Sometimes it matters how many of these you solve, but in this particular room, it doesn't. So I'm up to 5, 6 points already. So now I've got my requirement that I need for the first part, earn 5 points. Now, then solve this lock in 8 rounds or fewer. So spring, push, lever. In this order, spring, push, lever. And once I do that, before the 8th, by the 8th round, in 8 rounds or fewer, I can do this. I can do this. So just to recap what I was just looking at, it was key, spring, lever. Spring, lever. So these 2 need to be, this needs to be swapped. Or whatever. Spring, lever. Key, spring, lever. And this was push. All right, room's turn. A rotation. So push, key, spring, lever. So push, key, spring, lever. Oh my goodness. Round 6. How am I going to do this? So, I got some swapping. That's what I want. So I got 2, swap any 2. So I might do a double swap here. But I need to recap. Now, if I get the rotation just right, because I need to set it up so that it solves itself for me within a couple of rounds here. So this one I want to have end up being the key. Because then it will cycle right into where I don't want it, where I don't need it to, where I need it to be in the hidden, because I don't need it for solving the lock. So what were the icons now? Key. See, now I spent too much time talking. This was the key. Spring, lever, key, spring, lever. This was push. Okay, push, key, spring, lever. Push, and I need push, and I need, in this order here, I'm going to just show you here. Spring, push, lever, in order. Spring, push, lever. So key, push, key, spring, lever. Now when the lever gets rotated, it'll be over here. But I can't touch, I can only swap visible mechanism stacks. But that's fine, I'll swap that later. Just give me a second here. I'm kind of going crazy. We got push, key, spring, lever. I don't know why it's not just revealing itself for me, the answer. Maybe because I'm on video here. Spring, push, lever. So spring, push, lever. I need this one to be spring, this one's lever. This one would be push. So push and spring would be my goal. Push and spring. Wow. So this one we need it to be the key. And right now the key is here, so I need to get the key here. And this is the spring, so that would go there. Which is perfect. So I need to get the push here. And right now the push is, that is the push. Levers. Push. So I'm going to swap these. That's one. So I've got what is it? It's key. Now it's spring, key, lever. Push. Okay, push, spring, key, lever. So the push and the spring really should be swapped. So now I've got spring left of push, and the lever is here, which will get pushed into the hidden. I think I'm in good shape now. I think I got this. So at the end of next turn, I need to swap these two, which will be, okay, I think I got this. All right. So I'm going to leave this skill there. I don't need to advance it. I don't want my extra skill. I want to end my turn, because now I think I've got this figured out. And now the room's turn, and they will do a rotation. Now, without overthinking it, I'm going to just trust my instinct that I was right the last turn. So I'm going to roll, and I've got two flips. I'm going to cash that in. By the way, I'm on round 7. I'm going to cash that in to do a swap any two again. I'm going to swap these two. Now, if I'm right, these three should be in order for the lock, and then I pass the room. So I give myself a 50-50 shot that I thought this through correctly, but I don't want to overthink it and start second-guessing myself. So I'm going to attempt to solve this, and this will be my one shot. So this should be spring. No! No. So that was the push. That was the spring, and this was the levers. So I have these two flip-flopped, and so I probably could have somehow... What did I swap before? What did I swap? I swapped these two? So if I had swapped instead, I had the option to swap 2. So if I had swapped these 2 and then these 2, I would have done it. So I was right there. I missed that one swap right at the end. So again, I was overthinking it, and I blame you guys for making me think too hard on this. So, anyways, thank you for joining me again. That was one solo. Generally it would take about 10 minutes a room. And again, this video is probably 20 because I was kind of walking through everything. But thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm out.